Welcome again. My name is Cristian Zorrilla and this is Biology A Level for grade 11. Today's topic is our third video of the series is the Bohr effect and the hemoglobin dissociation curves. So let's get it. Now, as always, we start with our vocabulary. Today's vocabulary is very closely related to chemistry and physics. This lesson is strongly related to physics, chemistry, and biology. It also can be connected to STEM curriculum in the way that we can even build machines in engineering that can explain the Bohr process, the Bohr effect, sorry. So, let's get it on. Dissociation curve, kPa as kilopascal, Hb as hemoglobin, Mb as myoglobin, CO2 as carbon dioxide, O2 as oxygen, H as a prion or as hydrogen, affinity, shift to the left and shift to the right. Also you can find in some books instead of shifting to the left or shifting to the right. Some synonym for this word, because I've seen that some of my colleagues have had problems in the past with this word, as moving to the left or moving to the right, correction to the left or correction to the right of the curve. Second part, oxygen dissociation curves. Exactly the same. Dissociation is the difference, like how to change from a trend to the left or to the right. Hemoglobin, myoglobin, this and this are this and this. The Bohr effect itself. Bohr is named, this effect is named after Niels Bohr. So the Bohr effect, the pronunciation is, it's actually pretty simple. I've seen some students struggle a little bit with this, but it's not that big deal. Dissociation and saturation. Subject related. This is important. Our students, because there is not a clear difference in many languages, like my own Spanish and in some Latin languages, there is not a big differentiation between respiration and breathing. For us, Latin American speakers, respiration and breathing, respiración, both comprehend the same principle. In English and in Russian and in some other languages from North Europe, these two words are strictly separated. Short explanation, respiration is the exchange of gases, is the gas exchange in the cell or within tissue, while breathing is the mechanical process of aspiration of air and expiration of carbon dioxide. Let's continue. Go on. Concepts. We have four principal concepts, four main concepts for this lesson. The first one is the descriptive part of the respiratory system, its counterparts of the circulatory system. Not the respiration, the respiratory system. Lungs and airways and alveoli and how we make this blood circulate around our bodies. Not the actual exchange of gases, because that comes later. Part 2, gas exchange as opposed to respiration. Gas exchange and sites of exchange. This lesson, as you can see, is a little bit extensive, but we can build through, we can work with our students by asking them in advance to read about the lesson, and this is going to help to work marvels on this. Part 3, gas transport and partial pressure. This is the physics applied to our lesson. Actually, physics and mathematics, a part of chemistry. We're going to check again our laws of the ideal gases here. We're going to see the partial pressure law and how to apply these principles to biology and to human biology itself. And finally, part 4, how the hemoglobin and myoglobin have different dissociation curves. Also, what affinity comes into the picture. Let's continue. Our lesson objectives are 2, or this lesson only has 2 lesson objectives. Since we have 4 different parts of the lesson, we only have 2 lesson objectives. The first one is Explain the oxygen dissociation curves for adult and fetal. Be careful with this. Some teachers like to use the American way, the one that you normally find in books, fetal. Some other teachers, since we have the British curriculum, like to use the British way, fetal. Both pronunciations are exactly the same, but we tend to use in British English, this Latin version of fetal. Same principle with hemoglobin. In American English, hemoglobin is spelled like this, but in British English you find hemoglobin with A and E together. No difference, you can use whatever, you can interchange, you can exchange. Try to always use, if you're using the American version, use the American version. If you're using the British version, use the British version. More for consistency than anything else. And myoglobin. Myoglobin, as you know, is a bit different because myoglobin is in the muscles and it's in the skeletal tissue instead of our blood. And the second objective is show understanding of the Bohr effect by reading about the effects of oxygen deprivation in human and animal tissues. This is a differentiation part for our lesson. These lessons, these beginning of the year lessons, are kind of complex in the way that they don't provide differentiation and very strict, strong differentiation. Here you have a very good opportunity to show some differentiation in our lessons, because in this case you can actually provide students with more advanced text and more advanced material. So that's it for today. Our recommended activity, the recommended activity. We did this, we actually performed this last year, and since we know that the higher the exercise and the higher the physical activity, the lower the affinity, because the temperature goes up, the concentration of carbon dioxide increases. When we have a higher concentration of carbon dioxide, the affinity decreases, so oxygen cannot be, the ligand of oxygen is not going to work the same as in optimal conditions. So it was actually a very fun activity. We made a group of students, our control group, stay relaxed, breathe, deep breath and relaxation. While the second group, we asked them to perform a really strong, very hard, exhausting physical activity. 25 jump ups. So, yeah, right. So, our students afterwards, they have to perform a very, very detailed thing. Last year we used thread and needle. You can use whatever you think that it is, like actually nice for this. Anything that involves concentration, anything that involves coordination, because as we biology teachers know, a lack of oxygen decreases the neural activity. So we tend to be clumsier, and this is actually a great example, or a great way to explain how different conditions modify the affinity curve and the shifting of the curve either to the left or to the right. Note, in Russian books, and we realized that the hard way last year, in Russian books, what we understand in the West, in the Western universities and context as the left of the book is actually the right of the book. So my students last year, it was actually a good anecdote. My students swore on the Bible that the shift on the right was different than our shift on the right. I was like, wait a second, come on, like, how is this working for you? So they explained to me that in here they don't have the virtual effect. So when you see something frontwards, it's frontwards. Right is right for them. Not our idea of translocation is right, left is left. So your advice, dear colleagues. Anything else? Suggestions, please let them in our page, in our webpage. Our next video is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the F in Russian. So, thank you very much for your attention. See you next time. Bye-bye.